Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissack and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate and 2026.
That's
Happy
right.
New Year.
Happy New Year. Oh my goodness. It went by fast. I was just saying before we started, it has been funny. It was like I took 2 weeks and enjoyed the holidays and was time with family and all those things. And then it was like Monday this week, everyone was circling back.
Yes. Well, it's funny because we got off we do a once a month for all of our agents in our region, a wealth building call. And I got off, I said on the call, I don't know if anybody else has this panic feeling in January that happens, but it's like, okay, I look up and it's like January 7th and you feel like you just want to hang on by your fingernails because it's like, if I blink, I'm going to be at the end of the year again. And so you're like, I have all these dreams and goals and I don't want to let go of this week, because once you do, it's like gone. It's like the whole year's gone.
So true. Yes. So true.
And it's almost like a panic feeling, like, oh my gosh, I got to hurry. I know.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. But I feel like this year has started with good momentum. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I felt like that my energy has been really good. I feel like a lot of things are already in movement. It's so wild, even at the offices, Linda. We've had, today our fourth capper from other offices call us and say, hey, either like we miss it there and we want to, like, we need to get, our business was down last year, so we just want to come back, or hey, we're seeing the growth that you all are having and we want to be, it's just like good momentum right now, which is really good. I think agents are getting really serious about their environment.
Mm-hmm.
And, achieving what they really want to, are they in the right environment to really achieve what their goals are and what they want to achieve this year?
Yeah. I thought of a good ad the other day. I was driving by somewhere and it was like TXU Electric or something. I don't remember exactly who the company was, but it said, a lot of people are coming back. And I thought, oh my God, we could run that same ad. A lot of people are coming back. And here's why. Number one, a productivity specific environment is important after all. Culture is important after all. I thought about that. I thought, man, we could run such a marketing campaign around that, because it's so true. We're seeing the very same thing. And that's why I always say, man, even if people leave you, keep those relationships, because sometimes people just need to make a decision, and then later you want that door left open so they can come back. But I just saw this ad on a billboard. Yeah, it's a great ad. And you could have stories, because I think sometimes we get confused about what's important to help us succeed. And a productivity specific environment is probably one of the most important things.
Yeah.
And I was even going to say, and the other thing that's important is training, on how to have a real estate business. That's important, because so many people left thinking that wasn't important.
Yeah. I had a call, had a real quick, consulting call that I did with a capper who joined us in December in one of my offices. And I said, well, before we get started on our call and talking about your goals this year, tell me just how's your transition been, and is everything okay? And, are you good? And she said, oh my gosh, Dana, she said, I just come home and tell my husband every night, I can't believe the amount of energy that I have, because there's so much energy inside the office. And she's a good producing agent. And she said, but where I was, she said 90% of the time I was the only agent that came in the office all day long. And she said, I didn't realize how much it was impacting me, that I just wasn't around, people doing things. And she said, activity breeds activity. She said that to me. Yeah, and I said, oh, I know, I'm very familiar.
Yes. Well, and I think of two quotes I remember years ago is, no one succeeds alone. We need people more than they need us. And so if we always keep those two thoughts in our mind, then we understand the importance and the value of having people around you who have dreams and goals. One of the first things I always ask people is, who do you hang out with that has the same kind of dreams and goals you do? Because it's so much easier for you to focus on them, get to talk about them, achieve them, if you're hanging around people who also have big dreams and goals.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Well, speaking of big dreams and goals.
Yes.
We're going to share some of our goals for this year. Did you come up with a word of the year?
I did.
Oh, good.
And it was between two words. It was between action and simplify.
Oh,
And I thought, you know what? Action is so much more simple for me than simplify. And then I also realized to get better results,
yeah.
you have to simplify. And simplifying is the hardest thing for me because I'm such a multiplier. But think I have to simplify to multiply. So I went with simplify, even
Love it.
though I love the word action.
I know. Oh my God. I know. I thought you were going to say action. Yeah, that's a good one. Simplify is a good one. My word I decided on this year. I normally have one like pretty well, thought out, and I didn't. Even through Christmas, I was like, man, I just don't know my word of the year next year. And every year Heather tells me my word of the year has to be no, but I never listen to her. But so I was really thinking about it. And then my word this year I ended up coming up with, I said, I'm going to have to explain it to people. Otherwise, rumors are going to get started. But my word of the year is actually David.
Oh,
And yeah, and
that's a good movie.
yes, and it hit me right when we went to see the movie. I just loved it so much. But the reason why I chose that as my word of the year is because this year I really want to recognize and receive the calling and favor from the Lord on my life and just be brave enough to live it out in multiple things, like in the businesses, in the cultural space, personally, with my friends, with my family, all the things. And I just, when we were watching that, I'm like, only God would use a cartoon, to talk to me. But I guess that's what he knew I needed.
He knew he needed to get down
He really needed to get down.
I just said, put the cookies on the bottom shelf for you.
Yes, he had to really put the cookies on the bottom shelf for me. But as we were watching the movie, I was just thinking, man, like, and I know you went to see it too. I don't want to go off on a tangent on it, but he never wavered one time. I mean, he was never like, oh, this is kind of scary, or like, oh, I think I maybe should do. I mean, it was none of that. It was like, well, what do you mean? Why would I not do it? I have the God advantage. Like, everything's going to be fine. I mean, it was just, and I was just like, wow, what a great reminder. So my word of the year is going to be David. And I want to think of, I even ordered that little red, it's not come in yet, but that little red and green and white, they're selling those little like tie bracelets, that like the one in the movie that his mom made him and he wore it. They sell those like on the internet somewhere, and I ordered one of those.
Of course they do. Why didn't you think of that?
I know, totally. So I ordered one, and I was like, I'm even going to wear that. And anytime, I have that like, oh, I don't know, that might be like, I might be too scared to do that, or that might be, I'm just not sure about it. I just want that to be a constant reminder.
Well, remember the year that I'm sure you remember this, but I had bracelets made when Mo was coming to our region. It said WWMD. What would Mo do?
Yeah.
You need WWDD.
DD. That's right.
What would David do?
Yes, totally.
I just found a bunch of those down in my gift room, and I thought, oh, I forgot we had these made, but Mo was coming.
Actually, I might need you to bring me one of those to family reunion. Actually, I might need to wear that this year.
Yes, you might. Okay, I'll bring you some.
Seriously.
Yes. But I literally had little plastic bracelets made that said WWMD. What would Mo do?
I love that so much.
I wanted to bring those out again to people.
I know. Really, those are great. That's a really great. Well, and actually, that's on my goal this year. And she said yes. I just have to coordinate with her. But one of my goals this year is to truly be mentored by her, like on a systematic, quality time approach. So I'm really excited for that.
That's awesome. That'll be great. You'll love that. Okay, so it's kind of weird because what I did this year was a complete different strategy. So I started off with the exercise of what did I regret not doing in 2025.
Oh, good. Okay.
And just kind of what is my biggest regret from 2025? Because I think if we don't do that, what happens is another year goes by and we'll have more regrets in 2026. So then the second thing I did was I wrote, what are my only two big goals for 2026? I don't want a bunch of little things, because what I think happens is all my little ones got in the way of my big ones, right? So what are my two big ones for the year? And then when I went to the exercise of what's my biggest regret? And the number one thing I put was I didn't have a solid plan to build my region. In other words, the region did good. I mean, we were top last 2 months, we were top 3, I think, but they weren't great, right? They weren't great. And so I asked myself, okay, so what was the problem? And I think number one, when we don't hit them or we don't, we have a regret, I think it's either not important enough to us, or number two, it wasn't big enough to cause the friction in our life to change the things and change up our system enough to get it done.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
And so when I said, okay, in 2026, what would be the thing, or what would cause me to have the regret around my goals in 2026? And I said, number one is preparation.
Yeah.
Lack of preparation. Surprise. As I look up at John Maxwell's preparation and reflection again.
Yeah. Your bookends, mine are right here.
Yeah. And I said, there's 3 things that need to be a part of that preparation for me to guarantee success. Number one is, there's a saying, I watched a thing by Daniel Pink, and he quoted a French saying called my French is terrible, but mise en place. Mise en place. It means it's what a chef does. They get everything prepared in advance so that when they go to make the meal, they're not having to go get this or do that. And I thought about it, and I thought, every time in my life when I have not hit something, it's because I get stuck on the how of what all do I need to take action. Taking action is not my problem. Yeah. Most entrepreneurs, most people listening, that isn't the problem. I think we get stuck either in the how or in not having the stuff around us, the preparation and the stuff we need around us. Yeah. So the first thing I put was data. I need certain data around me before I can take action. Meaning, what's a list of my potential? So one of my goals is to grow my 10X community and help 100 realtors this year 10X their business in their life. Okay, so I got to start with, who are those people? Yeah. Where are those people? How many of those people are there out there as a potential? Yeah. That's what I mean by data. Same thing with growing my region's growth. I got to know, okay, I got Oklahoma, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, but where's the data of what the opportunities are there? Where are the people? Where are the independents that might be a conversion this year? All that. That's what I mean by data. Does that make sense?
Yes. And remind me to tell you offline. I started my day this morning with a 1-hour Zoom all on data in our businesses. Okay, great. So remind me to tell you about that, because that is a hot topic of the OPLC right now.
Okay. And it's having the data we need before we even start.
Yes, and you are spot on with that being your number one, and that's a big thing we're kind of trying to solve right now. But I think it's going to be good. But yeah, I mean, because if you don't have the data, then you don't know. I mean, either
what the opportunity is.
No, you don't. And also, what it does is exactly what you started by saying. It puts everyone in like this freeze mode or paralyzing mode, because they're having to go to 19 different places to try to find the data that they need. And then it's, says one thing on one site, but on another thing you have it. So, I mean, it is very, very, very important.
I think about it in the relation to how I built my real estate practice. When I needed appointments, what didn't work for me is to sit down at my desk and stare at a blank phone and think, who do I need to call? So on the preparation end, I needed a who, which was my second thing, is I need the right who's. Yep. A who that would get the data first and put it in front of me. And sometimes it was even they make the call and they tell me the person's on the call.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we're action takers. We're I'm going to respond to a need someone has. So if I'm not doing it proactively myself, what's a system that I
Yeah,
could put around this that enforces it's going to happen? Does that make sense?
totally. Yep.
Yeah. So my second one besides data was a person.
Yep.
And then my third one was accountability.
Mm.
I work well with accountability. Accountability, can I pay a bunch of money for
Yep.
something that makes me pay attention? That's one of my best ways to get my accountability up.
You and
Uh,
Adam. Adam has to lay a big fat amount on the line.
yeah, well, I'm going to perform because I'm going to make that money back and somehow make more than that money, right?
Yeah.
And I've
You know
tried
what
other
Adam
ways.
Do you know what Adam does with his coaching clients, Linda? Not all of them, but some of them who really, really, really want high accountability. He has them set an amount, a high dollar amount, and if whatever the goal is that they're trying, if they don't hit it, they have to donate that amount to the opposite political party that they
Yes.
are.
Yep. 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 Well, and everybody's different on what would drive them, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So the three things I need in the preparation is data, the right person, and
Yeah.
accountability. So that's the kind of the theme I went with is not more. I mean, certain things I pretty much have dialed in. I think I pretty much have my morning rituals, my health things. I might add, one thing that I know I have a regret on in my health area last year is I didn't do the HIIT training that I said I was going to do. And HIIT training, which is that real intense training that you do, is what raises your VO2 max. And VO2
Yeah.
max is the number one measuring of your health and wellness and all that thing. So, so I just said, okay, to do that this year, I'm joining a gym that my girlfriend goes to because then I can fix sociability and do the HIIT training. And I moved a treadmill up into a room not a treadmill, a Peloton bike. I have so many of them, they could go in almost every room, but I put one upstairs because it made more sense for me when I'm going up there to do the sauna blanket to hit do a HIIT. And HIIT you could do for like 4 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not long, but it's intense. And I would
Yeah.
rather go for 40 minutes at a low intensity. So I've got some little things around that, but my main focus is to not let anything get in between helping 100 realtors 10x their growth in their business and their life, and then growing my region. And it's been kind of hard because with attrition in real estate, what it was last year, it
Yeah.
was so high that sitting there and getting really clear about, because I also have to measure the offices in my region.
Yeah.
I can either just set a goal of what I'm going to help the region grow, or I got to figure out how to get and compensate for the attrition that offices have too. So I'm still working on that number, but it's going to be a big number because what I've learned is if the number isn't big enough, it doesn't cause the friction in my life to make any changes.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Well, and that kind of has to do with even what Ben Hardy taught us about like letting that future thing or number pull you, towards that instead of it almost doing the opposite.
Well, one of the things he says is your lesser goals get in the way of your bigger goals.
Yeah.
You let the lesser goals, and I understand that because the lesser goals are easy and you want to have the wins, right?
Yeah.
But instead of, what we should be thinking is, even if I set such a goal that's so big, even if I miss it, I'm still better off than if I had just worked on those lesser goals.
Yeah, that's totally true. Well, and you said this earlier, but my theme for my offices this year is good to great. Because, we've had good, but it's just like, it's time to figure out the differentiator to get to great. And actually shared this, on a call yesterday. I had a call yesterday with actually an agent in my office who Stephanie Kellerman. She's excited. She's like, when do I get to sign up for Linda's challenge and when can I join her group? She's like what you were with Graham when you were like, I already know I'm saying yes on Friday, so just let me go ahead. She said that to me yesterday. She's like, I already know I'm saying yes, so when do I get to do it? I said, I don't know. You'll have to ask Zoe.
Well, not just me and Stephanie, but she'll get a good program.
She will. But, I was so proud of her because last year, 2025, I mean, she surpassed the best GCI that she's ever had. And she just did such a great job. And so I think she'd be okay with me saying this, but, she asked me for a call yesterday and she said, I'm going to have 2 mentors this year and they're you and Linda. And I was like, okay, good. I said, well, well, that's a great start. And she said, I need you to help me grow my leadership. I need Linda to help me grow my wealth. I said, okay, again, I think those are great choices. And then she said, but she was real honest. She said, I had my best year ever. And she said, and now it's January 6th. And she said, I'm already kind of freaking out. Like, what am I going to do this year? And I said, well, you're just like anybody that's won a Super Bowl or, won the Olympics or something. Like, you have this big thing, you hit it. And then, you're like, well, now what? Like, what's next? But I said, you need to go back and journal and then come back to me on our next call and tell me the answer to this. Because the one thing I've learned so many years from listening to Andy Stanley, he always says, if you don't know why it's working when it is, you won't know how to fix it when it's not. And so I said, you need to know what worked last year. Like, what was it that you did that was so different that you more than doubled the highest your GCI has ever been? Because it wasn't the market. Because honestly, the market was down. So I'm like, you need to know what it was. Because if you don't know why it was working when it is, you won't know how to fix it when it's not. But I say all that because I do think when it comes to like even in the retention space or attrition space with all these agents getting out of the business and stuff, like I've been going back and looking when we had our absolute best of best years, what did we do? Like, what were we doing then that maybe we need to try to bring back now, because obviously it worked before. And sometimes we just get so squirreled, we get away from the things that actually work.
So true. I mean, I think majority of the time, I always used to have a saying that said, oh, that was working so well, we stopped it.
Yeah.
Like, why did we do that? And it used to be like, we might get 10 listings from expireds and then all of a sudden we don't work expireds anymore. It's like, why? No. 10 listings is 10 listings. And you don't even know what those 10 listings are going to multiply you into.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a big problem most of us have, and which I love Stephanie because I think she's such a great student. I know she doesn't give herself near enough credit for what she has accomplished, but I love that she's such a great student. If you could just have 100 more of her.
Oh, I know.
That would be so fun.
Oh, so fun. I mean, yeah, yesterday she's like, okay, the one thing I need from you is help me determine and help me get into what rooms do I want to get into? Like what masterminds I want to be a part of, what rooms. She's like, I want to get in bigger rooms. And I love that question. And I actually shared with her, the story. And I actually shared this with somebody else I went to breakfast with yesterday morning, who's someone from my church here. But she was just saying like, how do you get into all these, things or whatever? And I actually said, I'm so grateful to Linda. I said, because Linda, really, you were the first person who put me in a room with John Maxwell. But then really what happens is, and John says this, like you can get in the room, but then you have to earn the right to stay in the room.
Stay in the room. That's right.
Yeah. And, sometimes like some years it's scary to think, okay, I'm going to pay this amount or I'm going to sign up for these 3 things or I'm going to do whatever.
It's funny you should say that because the talk that I did for Diana's thing in Nashville, which I think you were with the VIP group, so you were gone.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I talked about is the one Jordan guy, Chris. I mean, he created a plan of how to get in relationships with certain people, and he worked that plan. So I think when people say, how do I get in a room? Well, you got several options. You can pay their ticket to get in the room, and you and I both have done that many times.
Yep.
I've learned something from Graham lately because, you and I would love to give everything away for free. I would love to help everybody. The problem I found, and this is so true, he just hit it the other day, was people pay attention to what they pay for.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And I've noticed the things where I just put things, say, hey, you can jump on this call for free. I want to help everybody. The truth is they don't pay attention. And I'm thinking, I don't either. The things I've either paid a little for or I haven't paid anything for, I don't put as much. I'm halfway paying attention to the program. I'm not getting everything out of it. So I always say to people, I say, look, the number one question you can ask is not what should I be doing or how do I do it, but who's done it before me? And then find a way to get in their world. I tell the story of when we first met Tony DeCello, and he had done $600,000 in GCI back in a time when no one did that much real estate. And I thought, that's the number we need. I literally went up to him and asked for his time. And sometimes that's all you have is the ask. Yeah. And I think you're going to be shocked. People who genuinely care about helping other people, they'll find a time and they'll find a way if you ask, right? They're there to try to change people's lives and help people. Yeah. And so I say, look, I've paid to get in the rooms with people. It's always paid off every time, because once I
Every
pay, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to make
Mhm.
sure I get my money's worth, right? Sometimes all I've had to throw in is ask, but as quick as I'm in the program, I try to figure out how I can serve them and help them at whatever their win is. So if I
Totally.
can figure out what that person's trying to accomplish, I'm
Yep.
going to immediately put all my resources together to how do I help them win?
Yeah.
How do I
Yep.
help them win?
Yeah. So true. Yeah. So good. Yep. Yeah. Well, I love that you simplified yours down. I mean, that's amazing.
I know, but once I hear all yours, I'm gonna be like, oh, I want that one too. I want to do that one too. My list will get long again.
I mean, a lot of mine this year, I mean, I had just kind of three really big focuses this year. I mean, number one is my market centers. And, we set, not unachievable goals, but we set really high goals this year. And, I just feel like I have great people and great teams, and I want it for them, and they really want it. Like, they're just the momentum is really good. So we set great goals for the offices, and I want to get our team leaders like back to being black belts. I mean, there's just
Mm-hmm.
no reason, it's just
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I mean, and it's just such a great accomplishment. And I just remember how great I felt, when I achieved that. And I want that for them and for the region. And so we set great goals. So the market center, we have really great goals in. I have more, goals around just personal stuff. Like I get this one. I said kind of drug on from last year, because I finished my book, and then, I have this huge goal of hitting a bestseller list, which I've got about a little less than a month left, to pre-sale to hit. So I'll know in February. So then I kind of said after that, I want to start my second book, because my goal was to be able to have 4 90-day readers, with the first one being about intentionality, but then the second one being about just how to build really great relationships. Because I also believe right now there's, Gary just did this on the top OP mastermind, and it was so good. He talked about being relational versus transactional,
Mm-hmm.
and just the difference, and not necessarily that one is good and one is bad, but when you look long term, the people who are like real relational, they what's the word he used? Well, one, they have scaled more, but also they have sustained. Their sustainability has been so much longer
So true.
than people who have been really transactional. And so I started thinking about that. I already knew my 4 books before I started the first one, and I knew one of them was going to be great relationships, but I thought that how to build them, but I thought that was going to be the third one. But now I think that's going to be the second one, because I think a lot of people have kind of just gotten away. I don't know if it was during COVID or what, but have gotten away from really understanding the importance of building great relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And, how do you do that in an authentic and just deep way? So I want to start my second book and really be able to kind of have a good path on that.
One thing I think on talking about that, Dana, is I think when you force your world to be dependent on that, one of two things are going to happen. Either you're transactional with your relationships and it gets exposed. In other words, it starts falling apart. People don't follow you. Things don't work out. And you have two choices. You can give up, or you can figure out, okay, what's not working? And 9 times out of 10, it's the focus is on what you're going to get and not what you're going to give.
Totally.
Right. I think about, you said this earlier about a lot of the rooms that you've gotten into was because I got you in those rooms. Dana, I got a lot of people in those rooms, but here's the thing. It's what they did with it afterwards, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some I can think about that we invested in to take them to those same very expensive rooms, and they just fizzled. It just nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think if you see, I'm going to think about this, because I'm a sole performer. To be honest with you, I'm very transactional in my way of thinking. And it worked great in the real estate business. Other than, I did lay awake at night and worry about the customer and all those kind of things. That's a little bit different. That's not deep enough relational, right? It's temporary relational, because you only have those people for so long. Where your real test comes is when you have to do it long term. Your success depends on it.
Right.
And believe me, I've gotten plenty of lessons, and it was either fold up the cards and go home because this is too hard, which is what a lot of top agents do. They fold up and go home because it's too hard.
Yeah.
Or they dig deep and say, okay, maybe this needs to be more about other people. And I need to just trust that if I'll just focus on other people and what they need, I'll get what I need.
Yeah.
And that's a hard transition.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But you said, okay, well, you said, people either do one or two things, they fizzle out, or whatever. But is the other one the second thing, or they learn how to be relational and they explode?
Yes,
I mean, yeah.
exactly. And,
Hmm.
I don't think I think yeah, exactly that.
Hmm.
Because once you start focusing on other people and what they need, you have to have a certain level of confidence that it's going to work out for you, right? It's
Yeah.
not, but we all know the people that, even in your conversation, we've said this before, they're transactional. They're only there to kind of manipulate your thinking so they get what they want. I mean, everybody senses and feels that, right? It is different to go to a place where I might get the short end of the stick sometimes with this. But
Yeah.
in the end, I know I'm going to win with this kind of philosophy. I know I'm going to win if I'll just focus on helping other people get what they want.
Yeah, it's so true. And it is kind of that. I'm reading, I think I told you this, it's so good. Gosh, I'm reading the Mark Batterson's new book, Gradually Then Suddenly.
Yes.
And this is so crazy to say because I still sometimes think I'm, 20 years old. But 2026 is my 20th year in real estate. I got my license in '06. And it's so crazy because I was journaling this out during the new year when I was kind of doing my reflection and preparation. And there's been so many times where I can look
Mhm.
back and be like, God, I totally got the short end. Like, I'm so getting the short end of the stick on this. Or like, you just think, gosh, you're doing for everybody else, but you're not getting it, or, or whatever. But when you look over the length of time, holy cow, has it paid off? Like,
Mhm.
I don't have the short end of the stick. I mean, it's just like it compounds. And that's one thing we've learned from John. But, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes you just don't see it when you're in it. But then after time goes and time goes, you look and you're like, man, it was exactly how it's supposed to be.
Well, this is when I always say to people, that come to me really frustrated, I say, well, look, your dreams and goals have to be so much bigger than one person who leaves
I have
you.
I have said that no less than 15 times in the last 7 days, probably. So
Because,
yes.
because if it torments you, which by the way, all loss bothers you. I mean, I still
Yeah.
go, God, I can't believe that person left. Why would he leave? He has such potential. But I understand it's not about me. And
Yeah.
so my world is going to keep expanding, whether he stays or he goes or he comes and she goes. And I think that's the problem, is if everything they have is tied to that,
Yeah.
that's when they just want to quit with people.
Yep.
They want to
Yeah. I
say, this
totally
doesn't
agree.
work. And people are crazy. Yes, all the above is true. But the truth is, you got to just dig deep and figure out, okay, how do I get to that 30,000 foot where,
Yeah.
yes, it hurts, but it doesn't derail my whole dreams and goals.
Yeah. No, not at all. I totally agree with that because it's a different mindset and it's a totally different energy
Yeah.
that you end up developing when you get to that point. It's totally different. But
Well, I think we
uh,
ran out of time here. We can do a section 2 of the rest of all of Dana's goals, because I know she's got a bunch of them, and I got a few more too. But I just wanted to say, since my word this year is simplify to multiply,
yeah.
I got to be true to it. I got to simplify what I'm even chasing.
Yeah, I think that's so good. I think, and you won't be distracted by all the other things either. Like that, those are the main things to focus on. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that's so good. Yeah, that's great.
All right, good. We'll continue part 2 and do yours.
Yeah, those are my biggies are grow the offices and hit a bestseller list. And then I had a bunch of, I broke up into like spiritual goals, family goals, and then growth and learning goals. And so continuing a lot of those things. I did start the Bible recap. So I'm kind of excited. I want to read through the whole Bible this year. I've never done that before in one
Have
year.
you have you ever listened to Chris Hodges' stuff he uses when he's reading the Bible?
Yeah, a lot. And I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a whole bag full of all those books he recommends. I just got to find a place big enough to spread them all out in the morning.
I know, and go through it. I know. Yeah. But I am going to do that. So that'll be good. But then, yeah, just a lot of other little ones.
All right. Well, so let's why don't you give us one out of each category then?
Oh man, real quick. Okay. Let's see.
Unless you
Let's
want to do a part 2.
It's okay. I can do it real quick. We want to buy a mountain house this year in Cashers or Highlands. We made an offer on one over the holidays, and I got attached to it, and it didn't work out. So now I'm like, So, but I definitely have that we have that on our goals for this year, big time. I have another big tithing goal this year and giving goal. I'm really growing my social media presence and like online brand and continue to do that. I had a great growth year this year. I grew more than 50% on my Instagram this year. So I want to keep doing that next year. And I feel like I have a good kind of solid.
You did a great job this year. Did you have a strategist or did you just come up with yourself?
Thank you. No, I had a strategist, and then I worked with a girl who rebuilt my brand, like all my colors and my fonts. And then Tyler and I did a whole photo shoot for a whole day, and we did all that. So it really lined me out good. So I want to continue with that next year. And then I'm continuing with brand builders next year. So I have some goals around that, just speaking goals and developing, getting better in that space. One thing I put down that I want you and I really to do together, we were going to do it last year and we didn't, but this year I really need it, is I want to go do that Phil Jones, exactly what to say.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to do that last year and I didn't. I really, really want to, but, and then, add 2 more rentals for passive this year. We want to add 2 more to our rent portfolio. And then my biggie for health is just 80-20. Like I really am working on eating clean 80% of the time. Mm-hmm. And especially now that I feel like I'm finally healed from my gut stuff, still have like a little bit of issues, but for the most part, it's a lot better, but it's just changed what I can eat. I just find that I can't hardly eat out anymore. And just certain things, just not good. So I'm really working on that. And I want to follow the Biblio diet, Dr. Josh Ack's book. So I'm really kind of that Eat Dirt and then his new Biblio diet book. So I'm really leaned in, focused on that a ton. And then lastly, more just being more generous and in the giving space. And my verse of the year this year is Malachi 3:10. I will open the windows of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be enough room to store it. And so I'm just expectant of that this year. And, even for the people that I lead, for their families, all of those things. So just continuing on that front. But yeah, those are my biggies.
That's awesome. Love them all. Okay, awesome. So 2026 is going to be a great year.
Yes, it is. I'm excited. I feel really good about it. I know I started that, but I do. I feel really good about this year.
Awesome. All right. I think it's going to be a great year in real estate. I think agents are going to have a better year. I think it's all going to be great. So remember, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that now. And if you have a challenge, an opportunity, a question, or a guest that you think would be great on the podcast, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. And Dana, I'll see you next week.
Sounds good. See you then.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.